Okay. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and record here now. So,
Yeah,
um, yeah. So let me think. I can screen share here.
yeah. And I have the Thingiverse site
Okay.
up,
Yep.
so I can always share my screen too. That's easier.
Yeah. Let's see. Share
Whatever you want.
screen. Um, all right. Can you see my screen?
It's loading. Yep, there you
Okay. So do you see my OneNote?
go. Yes.
Okay. So I'll share this with you here when we're done chatting. But what I
Yeah.
have here is I've got this folder and I just was going through and it's just a lot of pictures and a lot of projects that we've done at our middle school.
Okay.
We also have a MakerBot. We have two
Okay.
of them actually. I've had a lot of really good success with them, knock on wood.
Mm,
Um, and we've kind of done everything from real simple basic stuff, just kind of exploring for fun. And we've moved into actually weaving them into our projects in sixth, seventh, and eighth grade as kind of an end
okay.
product.
Yeah.
Um, what I would recommend, there's a lot of different options. Is that have you had a chance to play with Tinkercad at all?
I haven't. No.
Okay, so this is an online tool. It's free. A couple things I like about it is the kids can all their products store online, and so you don't need to like download any software. You don't need to save things on a flash drive or anything like that. It all stores in the cloud. Now you're
Mm,
fourth grade, right?
right.
So I don't know how that what that means in terms of emails. They have to have an account, but maybe you can have like a just a couple of
Yeah.
generic accounts, whatever works
Um.
for your
Yeah.
setup. But
All of them have student Gmails
oh, okay.
through a
So
district. So
yeah, so that'll work. Um,
yeah.
what I like about this is they can go home then and log in and keep working. So some
Okay.
kids get really into designing. It's a pretty basic one, but you can get pretty complex in your creation. So um, what happens is you log in and get your stuff. You can create a new design, and I won't go through everything, but just to kind of show you what it looks like. You get this blank board, and it comes with just a lot of built-in pre-shapes where you can just kind of drag and resize, and you can move things around. You can
Okay.
hollow these out. There's a lot to it. There's
Okay.
a lot of it has like 6 tutorials to begin with, and we always make our kids do those tutorials for no matter what we do.
Okay.
And we've never. I have an engineering class I run at night, so we go into real specific detail. But in terms of like in the classroom, especially with teachers who are uncomfortable, we just have the kids do the tutorials, and we don't even teach CAD
Mm,
concepts really at all. And the kids
yeah.
do pretty well with that. Surprisingly, um, they seem to grasp the concepts a lot faster and easier than than us adults,
Right.
um, which is nice. And so, like I said, the thing I like about it is they can go home and keep working.
Uh,
Um, and so
so
these
do they have
are.
to have?
Oh, go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry. So do the students have to have their own account? Do they go and sign up for their pre-account and then they log in, or
Yeah, yep. So
yeah,
that way, it's all their work.
okay,
And there's examples, and there's a library that looks a lot like Thingiverse. Um, there's a lot of things out there. So like this one here, this was a checker piece we made, and it's just really we imported the bat symbol from a Google search. We made the two auto shapes, and we printed it out and made checker pieces.
yeah,
Um, and so you can get things that are kind of complex if you wanted to. So we have, let's see what I can show you. I don't see it in here. So here's the thing we did just for fun for schools that didn't have 3D printers. We used Tinkercad, um, and we just did a Christmas ornament challenge. The kids just
right,
had to create ornaments, and so you can see real simple ones where kids just did a word.
mm,
But even that is just teach them how all the letters have to be connected in order for it to print. Otherwise, they print separately, and it's a pain in the butt.
right,
And so then we printed in white here, and then they just use Sharpie to color. You see the snowman. So you can see there's people put some real good time into it and details for kids on their own. And others are real basic. You could take it or this one down here. These complex ones. Oh, I don't think it loaded. But we printed a green Christmas tree. We drilled holes into it and then added LED light, and it all lit up, and that was pretty cool.
Uh, yeah.
Um, so there's just something kind of simple and fun. If you're just looking to get them understanding design principles,
Mm,
if you have it for a month, you can have them do something for Halloween as opposed to Christmas.
right.
So that's where I would start.
Okay.
Um, there's all, and these are all from like the same. This company, Autodesk, bought all these tools, and so they're all free and they all run. Another one that we get into, not with every kid, is this mesh mixer, and that may be above fourth grade, but they have all these things where you can take an idea like from Thingiverse and distort it and kind of make it as goofy as you want. So here was just a rabbit that we're teaching kids right now.
Mm,
Um, we attach an arm. You can distort these arms, make it look like a sumo fighter
right.
robot or a rabbit. I mean, but there's just a lot of kind of neat things. Some kids get into that. Some that's just way above their head. But this is also another free tool that feeds into all these things.
Okay.
Um, and the other one, this is Autodesk. They're the ones that purchased Tinkercad, but they have another software thing that's also free. You got to download this, so I don't know. That's a kind of a
Right.
pain. Depending, like we have Chromebooks, you can't download anything to it. So
Yeah, we have two. So.
yeah, so your best bet's probably gonna be Tinkercad.
Okay.
But this is just another software that can do stuff. But with that, um, so we've done the holiday ornament one. Another thing we've done is we've just had kids create checker pieces, and we
Mm,
3D printed checker pieces. And so they, obviously a circle's pretty easy, and then trying to weave in their symbols and designs.
yeah.
We took it a one step further in ours, and we made a cast and mold. So as opposed to printing every single piece, we just created a mold and then just casted them over and over again with a real cheap material. And
Okay.
so we just were able to get a mass amount of copies of the same piece,
Mm,
cheaper than trying to print, and also time wise, because this stuff dries up, takes about 20 minutes to do.
yeah.
Um, so that's maybe just one other option. Now you have to do the cast and mold, but checker piece is a great thing that's easy and simple, and the print doesn't take real long.
Okay.
Um, Another idea is just so I have a lot of kids that maybe aren't the most generally interested in school. So kids love Minecraft. So I've had kids just make files on their own and just want to print them off. So you can just give them wide open access to create, their favorite character. Um, this here was another one. We printed an umbrella stand for our little bits.
Mm,
So um, I put this in here just to let you know, don't be afraid of failure.
yeah.
Sometimes we print stuff and it doesn't work. So I always just remind people. Sometimes kids create stuff on the Tinkercad or their software and it looks like it's going to work and it just doesn't.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And so I actually just have a big old bin of failures, and that seems to get more attention than the successful ones for some reason. I'm not sure
Right.
why, but um, when you get into the MakerBot printing, there's a lot of different options in terms of printing with supports or bases and different things like that.
Mm,
And so maybe when you get to that point of printing, let's maybe reach out again and I can pull up that MakerBot software and just kind of show you a couple little options to keep in mind.
yeah.
Because there are some, let's see if I got something on here. Okay, so something like this, like these little small ones are really tiny. This was for a symbol project we were doing. Do not require any support. Do not require a base, so it just prints perfect, which is nice. And there's no like this one here would be another one that you just print it without all those things and it's fine.
Yeah.
We get into I don't see it on here. We did a physics project. Let's see if I can go back to this holiday ornament one. Okay, so uh, let's see if I can find one that would require. Sometimes you have to have support. So obviously, like gravity, you have to take into account, and kids struggle with this.
Mm,
So like this one here, see how on this Merry Christmas one, there's this base underneath it. We had to print it that
yeah.
way because the letters weren't connected. You can see the spaces in here.
Right.
So when we printed, it was all just it was like 10 different pieces. So we had to print a base, but it kind of looks tacky, and so it just
Mm.
kind of depends. This one here actually would be a good example. This is supposed to be this this print right here, this clear one is this design up here. It's this ornament.
Okay.
But if you look, all these rings, how they start to go back inside,
Mm.
the filament isn't just going to suspend in midair.
Right.
And so the kids struggle with that concept. They'll build these crazy, awesome things. They're like, this looks awesome. But when you go to print it, you have to print the support. So it has to, sorry, I'm probably giving you a headache here. It has to print all these supports to get up to that ring. So you see all this extra support. The kids have
Right.
to go through and clip all that out, and they hate it, and they don't want to do it.
Right.
So to start off, I would encourage just really simple, small ones, just to get
Mm.
that success and make sure everybody has something that they can take with them.
Right.
Um, the bigger the prints, the longer it's going to take. So if you get something real big, and I can show you how to scale it on that MakerBot software when you're ready.
Right.
Some prints take 18, 20 hours if you get real big. Smaller ones like this, 10, 20 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
And so
Okay.
um, just to kind of, a couple things there just to kind of keep in mind.
Right. So, can you show me the Tinkercad? So, what will the kids do when they get to that website?
Sure.
How would they start creating something?
Yeah.
Like, I'm kind of thinking, I like the idea of doing some sort of simple holiday ornament, just so they have the process, because we only have it for a month.
Yep.
So just to get them to design something and have something that you take home, and then maybe if you have time, like a little larger thing that we can keep as a class afterward.
Yep. Absolutely. So when they log in, this is what their account. This is what they'll see, except for they won't have any projects yet. This will all be blank.
Okay.
So once they have their account created, they have this option here for create new design, and that's where they'll create their new project. What I would do is up here is this learn option. Make every kid go through learn,
Okay.
and you can see right here it says take a lesson, and the lessons are down here, and make them do these projects. So
Okay.
these basics right here, we have every kid do these 6.
Okay.
And they walk them through it step by step. They actually they have the layout, and they just have to follow along.
Mhm.
So like here, it'll show them how to make a wrench. I can show you what it looks like, and it's just step by step. So there is the layout, and they'll tell them what to do. Like we need this hexagon,
Mhm.
and you can't move on until you actually do it. So you have to go over here, grab the hexagon, put it right
Right.
there in place. Now you can go on, and
Yeah.
so make them do that. They don't like to do the tutorials, but then they do because then they actually get to see what they're creating.
Right.
And even if all the further they get is to this right here, this key ring,
Mhm.
it's with their name, so they'll actually create one with their name.
Okay.
You could print that,
Right.
because what you can do is you'll get it. It'll end up in their own account. It'll give you an option. Let me show you here. So say I wanted to print this one. So this is my design, my keychain, my holiday ornament, whatever it might be. You get this download for 3D printing.
Mhm.
It's going to convert it to it's called an STL file.
Okay.
And you just open that up, and it'll automatically load into your MakerBot software. So that software you have with MakerBot, unless you've got some of the newer ones, which I'm assuming you don't, all that allows you to do is print. Like you can't really create in there.
Okay.
They do have some software, but I'm not sure if I don't know if you have that or not. But you download that, and then you can scale it on the MakerBot software, and then you can just go ahead and print that. And so I don't have the MakerBot software, I don't think, on this particular computer, but you would just download this. You want this STL file, and then it loads up, and when you click on it, it loads right into your MakerBot, and you can hit print, and away you go.
Okay.
And so when you get to that point, I can show you a video, or I can make a quick screencast. Actually, I might already have one. I can send it to you, and just show you kind of some of the different options.
Okay.
But it's That's pretty. That's about it's as simple as you can get.
Yeah. Okay. So if the kids are on and they're going through the tutorials and they make something, how do they get theirs to? Do they have to share it with me and then I have to print it, or how does that get from their account to the printer?
So you've got a couple options. So see how these are all considered private.
Yeah.
So I could go in here and I can change this option and make it public, and
Okay.
then they can go through. So I can make this public now. Everybody will be able to see that, and then from there they can email you that link, or you can have them. It depends on how your kids are. I usually just have them send me this link right here. There's this link right here, and then I'll download it. I have one computer that's connected to the MakerBot.
Yeah.
So they email me that link, and then I do the download for 3D printing, and then print it right there. And then it just allows me to that email in my inbox. I have two folders. Then I have 3D print and finish 3D print. So as soon as I click on this, download it, and print it, I move it to that finished product because, well, last year I had we probably printed 1,000 different things, so it got a little crazy. But that way I can keep track of which ones I've printed and which ones I haven't.
Okay.
You could, if you wanted, you could have them download this file and email it to you, or unless you're going to plug in, well, they wouldn't be able to do that through the Chromebooks because you have the MakerBot software. So
Yeah.
you can do that through a flash drive, whatever your classroom setup is.
Okay.
But for me, I just found they just emailed me this link right here.
Okay. And that was under the what share?
Yeah. So if I have again here, if I go to this, when they click on their item, it's just right here,
Oh, okay.
and they can just share that with you.
Okay.
Just that their product has to be it has to be public, so that's their key thing. If it's private, you won't be able to access it.
Okay.
So in this in the properties, they have private or public, and so most will keep it at private until they're ready. When it's public, it goes to the Tinkercad library. Other people can use it. That's not it. There's no big deal there, but but if they keep it private and you get that link, it'll be blocked. You won't be able to access it. And so that's probably the easiest thing to get going. So yeah, I would have them get those accounts and then do that. Go into Learn, do those tutorials. It won't take them very long. They move pretty quick.
Yeah.
But that way you can kind of see which kids get it and other kids need some help, and that way you kind of figure out who your stars are to kind of help you with others.
Right.
And then the printing, yeah, just whatever your system is, email, and they will love watching it print. They'll probably spend more time huddled around that 3D printer,
Right.
even though it's the same tedious, boring process over and over. But they, especially when it's theirs. I mean, that's when they go, "Holy cow, this is so cool."
Yeah.
So I'll pop out of this here. So yeah, it's. Are you able to see me now?
I am. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so they get a big kick out of watching it print.
Yeah.
And then it's just one after another.
Yeah. We got it midway through last week. We did a couple test prints, a little coffee table, and then a chain link.
Oh yep.
Links. And so they really enjoyed watching that. And we passed it around. They looked at it.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah, it blows their mind. We printed off one. It's like a table, and it printed all in one piece, but it has like a screw, and when you screw it, it actually the hinges move the table up and down, and that just blows kids' minds. That just printed all in one. It's like, yeah, it did.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I don't think when I downloaded the MakerBot software on my computer, I don't think I connected my computer to the printer. So is there an easy step to do that, or would it just be just as easy to do a thumb drive and put the files in the thumb drive and put it in the printer?
Either way, I have just a USB cable. That's my computer is right next to my 3D printer.
Oh yeah, and mine's on the other side of the room. So
yeah, and so I just have it just directly connected. There's no difference between that, except for I just don't have to plug in the thumb drive. But you could do that too. Either way, I've done both. Sometimes kids will bring in their own files, and I just print it that way.
Right.
But
I may just put it on a thumb drive.
Yeah.
Once you send me the link, just convert it, and then I convert it to that file and dump the file into the thumb drive.
Yep. That would work just fine.
And I assume that you have to print one at a time. So as soon as one gets done, take it out and then get the next one started.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. There is a way where you could throw a bunch on at once, but it might be more of a headache
Yeah.
at this point. Just getting your feet wet, I would just print one, especially if they're printing smaller things. Just do one at a time.
Mm.
If you get to a point where you need to get 5 or 10 going at once, you can. But
Yeah.
I don't know that there's any real time saving in that because if you have 5 on the mat, it has to print all 5 versus one at a time. The only difference is you don't have to reload each time, but
Right.
the more you have to print, the longer it takes. So I think it kind of balances out,
Okay.
especially for what kids are making it,
Right.
at this stage of the development.
Mm-hmm. So another question I had was if I like the idea of doing some sort of holiday ornament, just something small that they can try out and take with them.
Yep.
Is there a limit to like the size? So I don't want kids doing like something really huge and taking hours and hours to print if we have 25 of them to do.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a limit? Is there a way that I can set a limit and say your dimensions can't be larger than this and this?
Yeah, and you can show them that on that Tinkercad. There's a scale, and you can scale it. And you can just tell them it can't be. If you depending on how complex you want, you can give them like the grid. Like it can't be more than 5 centimeters by 5 centimeters, or you can just say it has to fit within a 10 by 10 square. On that board.
Yeah.
It's the whole grid. So whatever works that way. If somebody does happen to make something huge in the MakerBot software, you can go through and take that print and scale it down before it prints, and I'll show you how to do that. I'll make a note to show you.
Yeah. Okay.
It's really easy. There's other times sometimes kids print, they think it's gonna be big, and it's super super tiny. And so sometimes, as opposed to making them redo it, I'll just go in and scale it up for them, just so. Some kids get a little frustrated. You want them to have success, and so sometimes they don't quite understand that scaling. Especially for how quickly the turnaround is, and so that I'll make sure I show you how to do that on that MakerBot software. And then just how to like rotate. Sometimes the way they create stuff, they'll create something in Tinkercad where it's suspended in midair and not actually on that plate. So when you go to print, it'll print all that support to print something really small. And so something that should take 10 minutes will all of a sudden take 4 hours, and then it also uses a lot of extra filament that you're just going to throw away.
Right.
So I'll show you how you can move it right down to the plate and make sure it's all good to go.
Yeah.
And that's not hard either. Once you see it, it's just a nice little. I've learned that the hard way trying to print something. One guy had it about 10 inches in the air, and I came back the next morning. I printed it when I left school, and it had taken like 16 hours. And it's supposed to be like a 20-gram print. Ended up using like 180 grams of filament, and I was just like, oh, there's like $10 down the drain. It doesn't seem like much, but it does compound over time very quickly when you're printing all the time.
Okay. Well, this will get me started. So next week we'll have my kids make an account on Tinkercad and start going through some of those tutorials.
Yeah. Yep, and then when you get going, if they have questions and you're not sure, feel free to email me or anytime. I'm usually always kind of on a computer at some point in my room helping kids, or right there. Actually, we're in the middle of a 3D print project ourselves, so feel free to help. Or if kids need something, I have no problem making just a quick little tutorial or something just to kind of for you to have, in your library as well. So, and then I'll make some just between now and then. I'll get going sometime this week. I'll just make a quick screencast of the MakerBot software, show you just some of these quick little things where they're at. It'll just make your life easy, give you some time to play around with it, just so you have it. Because I've learned the hard way. I was like, man, I wish I knew how to do this or that. And then someone's like, oh, it's just right here. I'm like, oh, it's so easy. How did I not figure that out? So I'll just make sure I just send that your guys' way, just so you have it. And then I'd be excited to see what these kids come up with. That's the beauty of it is they get so hooked on it and they make some just amazing things. So make sure you take lots of pictures. I'd be intrigued to see what they come up with.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, thanks. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Glad we were able to connect, and let's see where it goes. I'm excited for you.
Yeah, thanks.
All right,
So,
man. Well, have a great rest of the weekend.
okay, you too.
All right. Take care.